I'm T.
I'm James.
I'm Roscoe.
And we are
the
ChoppedByT
ChoppedByT
podcast. And if you're watching this right now, I need you to go get our book, 5 Fear is Vitality, 5 Key Strategies to Turn Your Fear into Strength. It's available now on Amazon. Thank you.
I'm feeling good.
Enjoy his wine.
Yeah, look at you. Throw that pink out.
You wearing a white shirt, so don't spill it.
No, don't put that pink out for the people. And let them know. We ain't niggas. I do want to start off, though. I want to ask y'all something. Have y'all ever had an imaginary friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to
Yeah.
hoop with them all the time.
Used to who with them?
Yeah.
You hooped with your imaginary friends?
Yeah.
Do y'all remember what they look like, though?
No.
No?
No.
Reason I'm asking, because I had one too, and it just hit me the other day, right? So I had an imaginary friend. I was reading a Will Smith book. It's called Will. Y'all ever heard of that book?
I heard of it, but I
I
haven't
ain't
read
read it
it.
yet, though.
Yeah. So I read the book. I was reading this book called Will, and he had an imaginary friend. And what the friend would do is, like in moments when he was feeling bad or something like that, the friend would basically like console him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right, and keep him from doing like fucked up shit. Like if he wanted to curse or something like that, the friend would be like, "Nah, don't do that. Don't do that." And I was like, I'm reading it, and as I'm reading it, it hit me. I said, "Damn, I had an imaginary friend. They done the same thing with me."
I think mine was
Did they?
myself.
Yeah, they done the same thing as me. I'm gonna tell y'all what he looked like. I remember what he looked like and everything.
For real.
Okay.
Yeah, Littlefoot from Land Before Time. You ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't.
That's because you weren't raised right.
You ain't seen Land Before Times? Really?
I probably have. I just once you get to talking about it, I don't know.
Yeah, Littlefoot, bro. Littlefoot. That's exactly what my imaginary friend looked like.
That's interesting.
And it's like, but if you think about it though, something so significant in your life, like an imaginary friend, that he was with me from like far as I can remember back to like probably like first grade.
All of it to first grade.
Something so significant, I just forgot about it, bro. I just forgot about it. And in the moment, it's like it kind of made me think of the show Fairly Odd Parents. That's what I'm kind of thinking about. Like, damn, was he granting wishes for me and I just didn't know? You know what I mean?
Might have been.
But the reason why, but the way my mind think is, I go down this rabbit hole of just thinking. Like, I go down the YouTube rabbit hole, and I start thinking about all the different shit in my life that I've experienced up until this point, and then I start thinking like, this imaginary friend, it plays such a significant role in my life. It molded me for the most part, you know, and maybe I'm giving it a little too much credit. Maybe I should give my parents more credit, but
A little much.
right, but it molded me for the most part. It kept me from doing certain things, told me not to curse when I was finna curse, told me not to like fight when I was about to fight, so on and so forth. But I just completely forgot about it. It's almost like forgetting a best friend or something like that.
Yeah.
So I go down this rabbit hole, and I start, and of course the Fairly Odd Parent thing that I just brought up, and I find the jinn. Y'all know what the jinn are? Have y'all ever heard of it? You ever heard of jinn, Abu?
No.
So the jinn is plural, right? For a genie. So I know you heard of a genie.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like Aladdin. We just talked about that. I told you he was going to.
Yeah.
So a genie is singular, but if you're talking about more genie, you say the jinn.
Okay. The plural. I got you.
Right. So basically I found the jinn, just searching on YouTube, and they show up a lot in like Islamic faith. It's a whole surah dedicated to the jinn.
It blew my mind. I didn't even know all that shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so this may be a real thing, and it's in other faiths. It's not even specific to Islam. It's pre-Islamic. So I'm saying, okay, like, you know, this may be a thing or whatever, and I just keep discovering and just searching and searching, and I see that not only do the jinn, like, you know, you have this Western perception of the jinn, right? Oh, the genie. You have a Western perception of like Aladdin, the big blue guy and the genie. But actually, they just like us. You know, they have governments and everything. I sent you the thing, right, Scoe?
Yeah.
Like, they have governments and all of that. And I'm just like, wow, like, I wonder did I have a genie, bro?
I don't think I had a genie.
And if not, why was I so stupid? Why didn't I wish for $1 million? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
What did your imaginary friend do for you, Abu?
My imaginary friend's name was Punny. I don't know where it came from. I really don't remember a lot about like how it looked or anything like that, but I remember it was Punny. I remember we used to have tea parties and little stuff, but I think mostly like it was in a way consoling because it was more like when I was scared or something like that. And I don't know why, but as a little kid, I seemed to be scared a lot. I was a scared little kid.
Yeah.
But it was just always having somebody there to talk to. I was also like the firstborn grandchild and the firstborn like daughter. My mom had me super young. So like I didn't have like a lot of siblings or cousins to play with at the time.
Right.
So like I don't know, I guess in my head it was normal like to just have imaginary friends. But I don't know. I remember running to her when I was scared. I remember I would hide under my bed and be like, oh, I'm under here with Punny. Organization stuff, like I had a big thing about being organized and stuff like that. I remember I got in trouble. I used to blame my imaginary friend for stuff.
Yeah.
I used to blame her, but like, Punny did that. I didn't do that. And my parents be like, who the hell is Punny?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Punny did
But what
that.
if it was a jinn, though? What if it was a genie? I mean, what if
Then I wasn't listening very well to it.
some of them are bad, though?
Yeah.
That could be the case too.
That's what I
Like,
got from looking at the video. A lot of them was bad.
I don't was bad.
I would do stuff, and I definitely blamed my imaginary friend more so.
Let's go. What your genie used to do? You touch you?
Well,
You used to touch you?
no. Brother.
Rub your
Matter
butt?
of fact, mine was always with me in playtime. Like it wasn't.
Oh,
like,
playtime.
Yeah, like, he
Playtime.
used to ride around me with my
Wink,
Jeep.
a wink.
We used to hoop together, like, cause, you know, I was 4 years older than my brother. We never really just hung out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just always outside with my imaginary friend, playing with my imaginary friend, did everything together. Like, but it was always a good. It wasn't like I didn't run to him like you said when you was scared and stuff like that. It was always a good time.
Good
But what
energy.
if though? Because it's something about children, right? We see that all the time with children. It's something about them that's I don't know if it's the purity aspect. I don't know what
To
it
be
is.
more
but
tapped in.
it's something to them. Just last
Yeah.
night, ironically, just last night, because I can't see. I had my no glasses, no contact. My son was in my bathroom, in his bathroom, and he was in there pulling at the wash and dryer door, like dad. That's what he kept saying. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I jump up. I was so caught off guard, by the way. I wasn't prepared. If anything was in there, it would have got both of us. No glasses. I couldn't see shit. But he just went in, and I'm like, what did you see, baby? What did you say? He said, monster. All right. Alright.
They really be saying shit.
We gonna leave that motherfucker
Leave that motherfucker
alone.
alone.
He can come
Yeah.
sleep with dad. We gonna leave that motherfucker alone.
Mind your business. Let it do what it does.
Exactly. It's like if it ain't bothering us, we don't need to do nothing to it. Y'all believe in ghosts?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe in ghosts.
You remember the time we lived together? I told you I seen that ghost. You said, as long as it didn't come to my room. I said, this motherfucker.
Yeah. As long as it don't bother me.
Yeah.
I don't care what it do to you.
Like, you didn't offer me no help, no nothing.
No.
I ain't Ghostbusters. Shit.
No, yeah.
It seemed so real. It was a ghost. I seen that ghost, bro.
What did it do?
It was just staring at me in the corner, just looking at me
Ooh.
sleep.
Yeah, you was naked.
I was.
Yeah.
I was butt ass naked.
It's a creep ghost.
But it was just staring at me. I remember it had on like a sweater or something. Like whatever it was long sleeve. It was just sitting there. It was a white man too. Just staring at me. And I jumped out the bed, I threw a pillow at it, and it kind of just faded away.
He's like, wait the next time.
It fucked me up.
Y'all know that's wasn't the dude, what's the claw hand guy? Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger. Well, he was a pedophile or something, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, maybe you seen Freddy, bro. Hope he come back tonight.
I got something for you.
Not tonight. What do you have for a ghost? What do you have for a ghost?
I think I'm supernatural myself. I'm gonna know. I'm start praying or something. Goddamn it, like
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you say you had something for him, so I'm like,
yeah, like
I'm gonna see if he can throw hand. Like if he want to,
I'm
get
gonna
them
assure
hoes
you
up.
he
ain't
can't.
gonna be punching the wall.
But if I'm just saying, like if I could, if he
Yeah.
can make himself, we can get down. Like I ain't tripping.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I seen the ghost. You seen the ghost of Boo?
Yeah. It was I was living with my cousin for a little while. And honestly at the time I didn't really, really truly believe in ghosts. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was one of them skeptics. But I was staying at her house in the room that I was in. I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. She was like, it's haunted. I'm like, nah, not really. Okay. But I had a cat too. And so, like, people do say, like, cats kind of ward off bad spirits and stuff like that. Well, one night, like, and the cat was a baby. He was so young. His name's Marcel. But I had heard a noise. We were getting ready for bed, and I thought it was just something on the roof. And I saw my cat. My cat was like looking at it, and I'm like, you heard that? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
The cat said, yeah?
No, it didn't. But it's like it's acknowledging the fact. Like if I heard something and I'm looking up and I look at my cat's like
looking up too,
looking up and looking back at me. Like my cat's looking at me and I'm looking at him and we're both looking at this spot. And I'm like, all right, I ain't the only motherfucker in this room. So I was like, all right, it's probably a squirrel or something on the roof. It ain't nothing serious. So I go to bed and I wake up and literally in the corner of the room there's like a shape. And my cat is standing right here looking dead at it, looks at me, and takes off out the door.
The cat?
The
Pussy.
cat.
Pussy.
The cat took off out the door. So I'm like, okay.
A dog would never.
At that moment, I was done. I got up. I went and slept on the couch with my goddaughter was there. I was like, listen, we gonna sleep on the couch. Slumber party tonight. Not even her coming to me. I went to her because I don't play about stuff like that. But literally never saw it again though. Like every night after it, I bravely went back into that room. Never saw it again. Never had a problem. But it was just one of those things. It's like. Nothing's in that corner, so to see a shape outlined of a human.
Yeah.
It's like, and to know that my cat looked at it and was like, nah, that spirit's kind of, it's shaky and take off. Yeah. I was like, all right, if the cat ain't gonna fight the spirit and they say cats ward off evil spirits, then I'm a dip out.
Was it like lighter or was it a darker?
It was darker.
That was a black ghost.
So,
you should stay with me.
So like the window, you could see that wall clear as day. So like I know nothing's there. It was a white wall almost.
It was like
so like you can see it through the moonlight and you see like just a dark outline of a person. I was like, no, absolutely not.
I'm so stupid though. I'll try to fight.
I'm not trying to fight nothing. You ain't watch Paranormal Activity?
Listen, I'm gonna try to fight.
No.
They don't want this body. There's a lot of bad shit going on in it.
Every time I seen when I was stuck, I was stuck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a story that fucked me up. It was I was laying in my bed, me and my cousin actually. I was about 15. It's funny you say that. You see more shit when you kids. I was like 15. My cousin, he would listen to the MP3 player. He just over there vibing. So I know I'm awake. I'm not asleep. I'm not dreaming. So I'm just sitting up there chilling, and I see like. You know how you see something out your peripheral?
Yeah.
Darted into there where my daddy used to always sleep on the couch. He darted into where my daddy was at. I look, I'm like, I'm tripping. I ain't see shit. Then I seen a couple more. It was like black, gray figures. You know, I really couldn't see the face. And I'm looking. I'm stuck though, and they all running into where my daddy at. I'm looking at my cousin like, he don't see this shit.
He chilling.
He just over there be bumping some weak ass music.
Bumping Soldier Boy.
Yeah,
We finna get fucked up.
What the fuck? Like, you don't see this shit. And I'm just stuck. And like, I know it was something because I had chills and I was a little cold. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck was that? And, you know, I seen that and they was running, all of them was running into where my daddy was at. And I talked to my daddy about it. He was like, you know, he was going through a lot of shit. He was wrestling with demons at the time and stuff like that. That's probably what I seen, but that shit fucked me up. I know I wasn't dreaming though, y'all. I know I'm not crazy. You know what I'm saying?
No, but it feels crazy, like in those moments. Like when you're trying to explain it, like trying to explain it.
They do, because another person ain't seen it, they can't relate.
Yeah. Both of those, like with me, it was like a shadowy figure, and it was like I felt cold. There's a place on my street where I grew up called Oak Hill. No matter what, summer, you can be in the middle of the summer, but it's only at night. At night, it'll get extremely cold in that area. Like I'm talking like where you're like, fuck, like, it shouldn't be this cold, unnaturally cold. And one night I was coming through, I was one of them kids who didn't have to be in after the street lights was on. So I'm fucking just thugging. Like I'm just walking
just out.
And I thought it was tough, just stupid.
No structure.
No structure. Mama at work. She don't give a fuck. She tired. She
trying to get this money.
Like, so I'm walking down the street, I see this motherfucker, but I got away from his ass though. Yeah, it was a black shadowy figure.
Did he try to grab you?
Yeah, try to grab me. Like I'm seeing, like I'm hearing, like behind me, like a rustling. Like,
could you like make out the facial features of it?
I couldn't.
Like,
it was just
it's just shadow.
You can never really see the face.
But what fucked me up is I kept hearing something behind me. Like, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm speeding up. And now I look back. And I keep just looking over my shoulder. And then when it seemed like it was like right behind me, but it's like the rustling. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Like I look back and nothing was there. As soon as I look in front of me, I just see the black. It's like a movie, like a shadowy figure right there. And he just walked across the road. I was like, oh, fuck. and I'm like 10 feet away from me, literally, like maybe to that wall right there. And he was on the left side, or it was on the left side, and I just ran like damn near in the ditch on the right side. I just struck out running, but as I'm running, I see like right here, like at my peripheral, like he coming right here, almost touched me. But I got on down though.
But we're in a 4 flat.
Yeah, I got on down. Yeah, I know. Oak Hill, a long ass road. Shit, I ran like a half a mile in probably seconds, probably.
That's what you
Maybe
doing.
I'm exaggerating. I don't fucking
Hey,
know.
when you scared,
It felt
bro.
like that though.
Yeah.
That's what matters. It felt
When you
like you
scared,
was
it's like
gone in
some-
seconds.
When you scared, some extra shit kick in about you. I don't know what that shit
That
be.
adrenaline.
Yeah.
Pumping.
I was looking at some shit. Did y'all know lions used to be in North American lion? Have you ever heard of that? The North American.
I heard stories about it.
Yeah.
I ain't read about
The
it.
North American lion was like 2 times the size of lions that we know today, and it was here with us roaming around. Imagine we having that shit today, bro.
Oh, that motherfucker went last.
Like we would kill the fuck out of that. Though. We killed it. That's why it don't
I
exist.
was gonna say it's gone.
That's why it don't exist. We killed the fuck out of it.
It's extinct.
We horrible.
We are, bro.
We are.
we are.
We are.
Horrible, bro. We just moving people's shit. Like this our land. It's our
You gotta go.
And
What
y'all
you gonna
gotta
do
move
about
out. Y'all deers and shit. If you come across, we're gonna hit you with our cars. We're gonna leave you on side of the road. We fucked up.
We are.
Me and my cousin were talking about that Prey movie that just came out, as a new Predator movie.
Yeah.
And I was telling him the same shit. I was like, bro. He was like, what if something like that happened? I said, that motherfucker won't stand a chance.
won't stand a chance.
I said, he'll get the initial punch.
Yeah.
Because motherfucker like, whoa, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I said, but once we gather ourselves, I said, bro, we are savages.
Savages.
We are.
With nuclear bombs.
That motherfucker
Yeah.
ain't gonna
We ain't
last.
We ain't fucking around.
Ain't nobody scared of no aliens.
Maybe the motherfucker's
Alright.
tough though.
Speak for yourself.
you
I'm
see
a little scared of alien. I
I'll
don't
fight an
know.
alien. I'll
Like,
try to fight an alien.
You would try. I wouldn't.
try.
I'd be like, see, we could be peaceful.
Like if you
We
want to
could- we
fight,
could
You want to be diplomatic?
Yeah, I'd be like, wait, what do you want? Like, well, what do you want? We can negotiate. Now, if he's not trying to talk, then he wins. Look at me.
Yeah.
He gonna eat me. There's not a lot I could do.
listen, I seen some shit. Like I was watching Joe Rogan. I seen where the fucking alien. They went from like 60,000 feet above sea level to like 100,000 or some shit like that. It was like a big number, a big jump in a matter of seconds. With with how we understand things, right? We understand propulsion. Like we understand like fire come out, we go this way.
Yeah.
That's what we
Yeah.
understand. That's all we have right now. But it's none of that. No evidence of that or none. It just went from this place to this place. Only way we can wrap our head around that is teleportation. Like if people have something like that, or if aliens have something like that, there's nothing we can do with them anyway.
We could befriend them because teleportation is something I'm looking forward to. I'm
Absolutely,
not
me
gonna
too.
lie.
I
Like
would love
that would be my new best friend. Like,
Listen, us, the blacks, they got us. First day.
they got my vote. They got my vote. I'm
They come
done.
down like, oh, y'all want to? Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Shit, they got
So good.
us.
These motherfuckers been doing us wrong for
Dude,
years.
we tired of it. Like, they got us. What y'all want to do? Y'all want whatever.
I'm sold. You don't even have to say that. You're here. It's good.
Nah, I was looking at some shit called the 27 Club. Y'all ever heard of that?
Yeah.
27 Club.
Yeah. That shit
You ever heard of
fucked me up.
27 Club? You a
No.
poet. You should know about the 27 Club.
Should I?
You should, I think. You're an artist.
Should I am.
Come on now, boo.
I might know and not know at the same time. Like come
Oh.
across something and not know what it is. I'm very good at that.
When you tap into it, you can go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you're going to go down a rabbit hole. Because,
Okay.
well, what music do you ever listen to Jimi Hendrix?
No, never in my life. have I
Well, you
listened
know
to-
what I mean.
Never. Why would I listen to Jimi Hendrix?
Right. He's only the greatest of all time.
You know what's crazy though?
What was
I
that?
always heard of him, but I never listened
You
to
never
his
listened to
shit.
Jimi
I
Hendrix?
never
What?
listened to his shit.
Yeah.
Nope.
You have, but you just don't know. You
I
have.
probably
don't-
don't know
yeah.
who I was listening to.
Because he
See?
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's how I am with 27 Club. It's like I may have heard something and just not known it.
Yeah. But what it is just artists dying at the age of 27. A lot of
Oh.
artists. Jimi Hendrix was in that. Uzi talked about that too. The new thing is the 21 Club.
Yeah.
That's a new
I
thing.
can see
World
that.
and all
Well,
them.
where- yeah, Juice WRLD and all them people dying at 21, but the 27 Club is artists dying at the age of 27. It's a bunch of them. Like Jimi Hendrix is just the more notable one, but it's a lot
Right.
of like artists and actors and all that who died at the age of 27.
I'm gonna have to look into that. That
There's
is
a
a
lot
rabbit
of
hole
them.
to fall down.
It was like, most of them died of heroin overdose.
Yeah, or suicide, shit like
It's
that. Yeah,
It was kind of foggy to me. It was like all of them did this.
yeah.
It seemed kind of weird, you know. And I was looking at the 21 Club too. It's like, okay, A lot of them motherfuckers in the streets thugging and shit like that. You can see, but that 27 Club, it was a little foggy to me, bro.
Yeah, it was a weird.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix's girlfriend at the time basically said, like, I don't think he
overdosed.
I don't think he overdosed. I think that has something to
Yeah.
do with a higher power, higher entity, or higher organization like the mafia or some shit like that. But he had already knew. I think a few days before his death, he reached out to a friend and said, "You know, I'm gonna die soon." Jimi Hendrix.
You can feel it.
Well, I will say that is a common occurrence too.
Yeah.
Is people know when they're gonna die.
Know when they're gonna die.
It's like a feeling.
People, it is because I've had it several times where I've had. I hate to say several times, but it has had several occurrences. Like even people close to me, like my best friend and my grandmother both passed away. But both of them, days before they passed away, I had conversations about death and particularly their death with them. Yeah. And so, like, I think it's a thing, like, where people just know, like, I don't know what it is, but you just have that feeling, like, when you know.
See, me and you didn't talk about that a couple times. It was like, bro, I just feel death for some reason. Next thing you know, motherfucker die.
Yeah.
You like, I know I wasn't tripping. Yep. And I seen it on one day in Miami with Malcolm X. He was talking to Muhammad Ali. Mm-hmm. He told him, brother, I feel the feeling of death on me. Told him that. And guess what happened? He died.
Yeah. Now, I often wonder about that because my best friend, Boy, he was having like weird, he did weird shit right up until his death, you know, and it was like stuff like at a family gathering, he just insisted on taking pictures with everybody. Like, let's get a picture, stuff
Have
like that,
memory,
as if he knew he was about to go.
He using one like that.
Yeah, he usually, no pictures. Me and him got a lot of pictures together, but it was always me, like, let's take a picture.
Right.
Yeah, but he knew, like, let's take a picture before we go. It was weird, though. I wonder, are we tapped in like that?
I think we might be without even acknowledging it. I think a lot of things that we do, even like with children, we say they're special, they see things. It's like there's something there that we can't explain, so we just choose not to acknowledge it. Yeah. Like it's just a choice we make. It's like, okay, if I can't explain it logically, it is what it is.
You know what they say? Magic is only science that hadn't been proven yet.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm a firm believer in magic. Like I love it. Just because you can't explain it don't mean it's not valid.
Yeah, it's hard to have these conversations with people. People think you crazy when you start talking like this, though.
Because it's like especially in the South, we so embedded with like religious beliefs and stuff like that, which is nothing wrong with that. I think like, you know, religion has saved a lot of lives, taken a lot of lives as well. But, you know, it's like, I think it's better to have an open mind. We're in the age of information. So it's key to have an open mind because you discover so many things, you know, nowadays. You know, me and Scoe talked to a psychic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, me and Alex have been talking about years about finding a psychic.
We got one for you.
Not like a real legitimate. Yes,
listen,
absolutely.
Her ass is
absolutely. Because we look and what discourages us is you don't know who's real and who's not real and who's out here, you know, just faking. So we have looked into it so many times because that's something I've really always wanted to do.
Yeah. She literally predicted that the one guy that we had on the show with us. She predicted that he wasn't gonna be on the show anymore. She predicted that.
Show did.
See,
like, you know, the outcome of the ChoppedByT podcast and everything. She told us what it was gonna be and all of that shit. She just predicted like she's like, y'all in broadcasting or radio or something like that, like something with a mic
with no information.
With no information, we gave her nothing.
Yeah, I would definitely love her information.
She told Scoe just to come out. You know,
it's fucking wild.
He said, just admit your deep embedded love for T. She saw that shit.
This fucking gay banner he got going on.
No. You don't remember she said, just admit that you want to have butt sex with him.
No, fuck no.
You don't remember that?
Fuck no, nigga.
Okay.
Bullshit.
So I'm making shit up?
Yeah. You fucking psychic. You need a therapist.
I got a therapist for you. Her name's Amy. We could trade information.
Listen, we're going to get y'all
We could trade information.
Just don't let us forget after the show. Like, her ass, like, she was crazy.
Yeah, she was accurate.
See, we could trade. I got a therapist for you if you really need one.
You know, hey, I'm perfect.
Ain't nothing wrong with therapy.
Hey, I think you're right. There's nothing wrong with therapy. The mother of my child told me that I do need some help.
Yeah, okay. And honestly,
you need help.
Oh, you know what? I watched that episode too.
Yeah.
You seen it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't know her, but I'm gonna take her word for it and probably say you might need some help. Just something.
Seen a lot, did a lot. Seen a lot, did a lot. I may do need a little help, but I think I do pretty well. Like I'm an artist. I think I'm an artist. I almost asked you, did you want to have a poetry off? Cause I'm cold with that shit too.
Oh,
I know you read a few. Yeah.
With poetry, you want to go there? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We can't. I mean,
nah, you actually pretty good at poetry. I seen a lot of your work. Yeah,
I told you did a good job at the show too.
Yeah. She killed it.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I was telling you that was actually my first time performing again in a couple years.
Oh shit.
In a couple years. So, but that actually opened a huge door for me back into the poetry world.
Damn.
So.
Nah, you killed it though, and you was shit. I can't think of her name right now. What is
Christine or TK, whichever y'all know her as.
You remember TK?
TK.
She was on the episode. She was Costa Rican or no what?
Oh yeah.
Maybe I said that wrong.
Cuban
And Cuban.
Cuban, yeah.
She's both.
Yeah,
she's mixed too.
She recommended you to me.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that. Talked about that, but. I love her. She's an amazing person.
Super cool. She was. I knew I liked her at our live show. Well, when you performed there, when we came up, I had hit her up and I'm like, bro, our DJ last minute called. I said, bro, I'm in jail. I can't. That's why it took the show so long to start.
Oh.
So the DJ was in jail, and I'm telling her like, do you know a DJ? Because I knew her boyfriend was a DJ.
Yeah, Deshaun. Yeah.
Deshaun. I knew he was a DJ. And I was like, you got a DJ for us and everything. And she was like, Deshaun, he doing an event right now. But shit, I plugged my phone up and do, I was like, damn, you a real nigga.
She is. She is.
It take a lot for somebody to just volunteer their shit. But we
to
got
actually work.
And not only that, it's just like, I remember how I met her. Because we both went to MT, but it was really like she was a poet. At the time, I think she was like, slowly just posting some of her stuff. Like she would record herself saying poems on Instagram. Was it? I think it was Instagram. And I think I just reached out to her one day and was like, hey, you're a poet. She didn't know nothing about me.
Yeah.
We never met anything. And I was just like, would you like to work on some poetry together? And like literally without hesitation, she was like, yeah, sure, of course. She invited me into her place. Like we sat down, worked on poetry, and she was just super real about it. Like super, like this is what we're gonna do. I got this. And ever since then, I was like, I rock with her super heavy because she's just a great person. She's very welcoming and very like trying to not even just make you listen to her craft, but she's very adamant about like helping you with yours and making sure you're getting the best out of it. And I appreciate that from her every time we work together. We're actually working together now on a collab, and that has been a very interesting and deep subject that we touch on because it's about women freezing in situations like sexual assault situations and being stuck in that situation. And so we've been working really hard on that poem, and it's beautiful to see how it's come to life.
I want to say too, if y'all ever need us, like whether it's like recording or whatever, we would love to like get together with y'all and shit like that. I think often, because it's like I think people think we doing something that's I don't know out of the ordinary or something like that, but we really want to work with people in the area and shit like that. So if it's like any of our resources, we edit. Both me and Roscoe know how to edit now. So anything we can do to help, we definitely willing to sit down and help.
Definitely appreciate that.
Sure,
100%.
Yeah, that psychic told me a lot of shit though. She told me I would have a baby by a woman with a European descendants. That was big for me.
You still ain't met that motherfucker.
I ain't met her ass.
I'm so glad.
Because at first we thought it was an old girl. We thought it was her because she a European descendants, direct European descendants. But I don't fucking know. Like she said, you have a beautiful daughter. Oh my god. Then she basically said how my son looked.
Painted the picture.
It
blew my mind.
His little badass.
Yeah, I can't wait to get her information. I need to see her immediately.
Hopefully she's still alive. She old as hell.
She old as shit. And
she's still alive. Psychics live forever. They live forever. They tapped in. Like they got shit to tell people.
Then her husband was a Baptist. So he was like a church guy. So he really didn't fuck with nothing she was doing.
Yeah.
That's a weird dynamic.
Yeah.
That's a weird dynamic.
And she said she told me he got the same power. He just don't tap into it.
But it's probably because how he was raised, he don't know how to tap into it. You say he's Baptist.
Yeah.
Very different belief system.
For real. Words really do have power.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm a poet. I will never deny that fact.
Yeah, that's why I was alluding to, like, your poetry, like, You know, words have power. Just saying things have power. I even go back to my friend that I mentioned, you know. I looked at him and I said some things that I won't repeat on this podcast to him, like probably like 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe, 2 weeks, because it was December the 27th when I said this to him. And he died January the 9th. I said some shit to him that I won't say it manifested, but it was something that directly I feel like affected him and ended up, because people, you know, I was reading, but what is it? The 4 agreements. It said that your words are, you cast spells when you speak words.
Yes, absolutely.
And I used to be big on like, man, I feel like I'm gonna die early.
I used to hate when you say that shit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because I did used to feel like I would die early. You got to think about my life up until this point. I kind of live fairly fast. You know, a lot of people who know my life know like I live fast. So I used to think, but lately, I've been trying to like readjust that, because I want to be here at least
for your baby,
to my boy 18.
Absolutely.
I get weirded out with him because I'm thinking like, fuck, is he the new me? He has everything like me. Like literally everything like me. Roscoe can vouch for that. Like he has he even thinks like me. His trainer, he thinks in systems. It has to be. The only way he can understand something is understanding that there's a system to it. That's the only way he can understand it. Like everything. Like it's weird.
Yeah,
it is. But
and I manifested him. I used to cuss go and say, "This is where I want my son to be. And everything that I want him to be, that's what he was."
That's great though.
Everything you asked for.
Everything I asked for. I'm so grateful now. I'm like, oh fuck, I want to live to 100.
You just keep putting it out there. Things can change. That's what's beautiful about words and like thoughts. Because I also think that it's more so not just what you say, but your intent behind it. So if you felt like you were gonna die young because you were in this place where you're like, okay, I live super fast, so I've already done this, and this in life. I feel like I've hit all these nails or whatever, and there's not going to be much left for you. Well, there's a new chapter. Now you have a son. You have this, and this. And dying young is really for you to say, oh, I'm going to die at 100. 100 might be young to somebody who's 102.
Yeah.
So it really just, it's perspective. So changing your whole perspective on that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I know Kobe said he was going to die young, too. Kobe always said he was going to die young. And he says die young.
Yeah.
Like he said he wanted to die a legend. That's the way he wanted to do. Like finish the NBA and die.
It's crazy.
That's weird, bro.
It is weird. But go back to, just watching what you say to people. I'm very careful about that now. At first I thought I had grown and like I'm really good at it, but you gotta watch it when somebody's talking crazy to you, then you say crazy things back to them, and it's like, okay, you did this, but what if you die tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I try to talk to everybody like this is my last conversation.
It's your last conversation.
Like so they can be, oh man, me and Scoe had a good ass conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like he died, but we had a good ass conversation. He was in good spirits. Everything was well with him.
That's a good way to be, Scoe.
Like that's, and I try to practice on it, like because we focus on bullshit. Come on,
because I'm the same way. I ask myself a lot of times. I'll sit and talk to myself and be like, all right, but if you got to die tomorrow, are you okay with everything today?
Exactly.
Are you good with the people you love today? Are you sure they're going to be able to handle that today? Like, are you accomplished as a person? Whatever you got to leave behind, have you handled your business?
Exactly.
Because you don't know. Like I said, my best friend, she passed away. My grandmother passed away. We were planning my birthday trip to Las Vegas because she was coming with me. We was going. And she passed away literally a week later after that conversation, talking about death and preparing me for it. And that's why I say I think people know they're going to die, because they kind of, like that whole conversation was preparing me. Like, are you good without me?
Yeah.
Like, do you understand like what life is going to be without me? And so I'm very, very careful about what I say, how I say it, making sure that all my friends know they're loved, cared for, all of that, the whole 9.
Do you keep that same energy in your poetry?
Yes. And so here lately, my poetry has been more mental health, in a sense of I want people to reflect on where they look at their life. So what's weird about me as a poet is what's weird about me as a female is I'm not great at sharing my emotions with people. And so a lot of my personal poetry I don't perform. I put personal poetry out in my book. So I published a book in 2020, and that was about as personal as anybody could get with me because it was super personal. It touched on alcoholism, suicidal thoughts, bad relationships. Like,
it was poetry?
Yeah, it's all poetry.
Okay.
And it was and about being biracial. So all of that was in that book. But what's crazy is, like, I touched on super personal stuff, and I'm terrified of my book. I've read it one time since I published it. I read it a million times before I published it, but I read it once since I published it because I'm not great at confronting emotions. So a lot of my poetry I perform, and I've been performing a lot lately, is more so, are you checking in on your mental health? Are you taking care of yourself? Because that's what I learned that I needed to do with me. And so I want other people to ask them questions and be really, like, checking in with themselves because people don't. Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean when you said you're afraid to look back at your book. I know the exact feeling.
Yeah.
Like of that. So, did the book do what you wanted it to do?
It did because it's twofold. So, like, the first half is really, at the time, because what's crazy is when I published that book, I thought I was getting, like, all this dark stuff out, like all this stuff I've been through and what put me down in the slump. And that was the whole first half of the book. And the second half of the book was supposed to be, like, my new perspective. This, like, my life is up, I'm heading up, I'm not that person anymore. That's how it was supposed to be shaped. Yeah. And then life hit me with some even harder shit. So even harder shit was like, oh, no, you're not done. But I think the book did do what it was supposed to do because a lot of it was getting a lot of stuff off my chest that even people close to me didn't know and, like, putting it out there.
What's the name of it?
Dark Clouds and Silver Linings.
Where can you find it at?
Amazon.
You published it?
I did. Yep, I published it myself.
Yeah, I got to get that. Dark Clouds and Silver Linings.
Yeah. I have a copy if you want a copy.
Yeah, I want a copy. I want a copy
too.
Yeah,
especially if it's poetry.
Most definitely.
We can read it together over hot chocolate. It's cool.
Y'all should.
No.
Dimly lit room on the couch.
Oh, I got it.
Look, he already got it planned out. Some candles.
He know I'm a planner.
No.
Oh,
if I come in here and I see the lights dim and
You
shit,
gonna turn around.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. I don't think my book is the book you want to read for that wonderful night.
Yeah.
Y'all might be crying.
So can we get into it though? What did you talk about in it? You say you dealt with alcoholism. What's the significance of alcoholism in your life?
So a lot of my family are drinkers, a big portion, and when you grow up around it, you go to it.
Yep.
You go to it, and so for a long time, I just thought drinking was gonna solve all not solve my problems, but more so like I ain't got to deal with them. I'm more comfortable. I couldn't handle emotion very well, so like I would just drink. I'd be like, it's cool. I'm gonna drink it out. Yeah. So, but really that's not the answer, and obviously it causes a lot of health problems too to go with it. Like I'm only 25, and I had some major health problems from doing that. I was like in the hospital for days from alcohol poisoning, and just really reevaluating. Like, okay, this ain't it. It ain't worth it. I'm not feeling better at the end of the day. I'm actually feeling worse. And like even abusing alcohol this is really weird. Like I would abuse alcohol to punish myself in a sense. Like if I felt like I wasn't a good person, I would drink and continue to drink and continue to drink until I would make myself sick because to me that was a punishment.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a very weird thing. And I admit it, like, I don't know how my mind twisted that, how I got there. But, you grow out of it. You learn when you learn about yourself and really deal with the demons that you have to deal with. And so I really got to a point where I thought I was going to drink myself to death. Like, that was my goal. Like, I'm just going to drink it. I'll be done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, no. Not unfortunately. Fortunately, actually. Very fortunate because I think a lot of times, like, I started doing that and then that led into suicidal thoughts. And so that book confronts that. And there's actually a poem in there called My Last Suicidal Thought, because I'll never be a suicidal thought again. And, it was just, that poem confronted that idea of playing this. I think there's a poem in there called A Dangerous Game. And the game was drinking from fun, turning into drinking to deal with everything.
Yeah.
And it's a dangerous game to play.
It's so ironic that you say that. Amy Winehouse, she was in the 27 Club too.
She was.
as you say that, that's what it made me think about. You know the song, "They try to make me go to rehab," but I said no. Like the
That's
fact,
my song. That's my
and
song.
the fact that I know that fucking song, like
everywhere,
it was
bro.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing. But that's kind of where she was at with it, with the drinking thing. You know, it's so
Yep.
crazy.
That's how I was when I want to just feel numb to shit. Like when I be
Yeah.
going through shit. And I remember the time, a period in my life where I was just smoking. I'll wake up, I'll face 2 blunts, just
Yeah,
self-medicate.
Doing pills too, wasn't it?
I wasn't doing them like that, but like
Yeah.
when they was around, I was like, hey, let me get one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I pop a perk, smoke a blunt. When lean was around, we put the lean on the blunt. Like my friends thinking I'm just kicking it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to feel
You just trying to
numb
deal.
these
Yeah.
feelings, bro. Y'all don't know
Yep.
what's going on in my head. And I don't know how to deal with this shit. Like I wasn't looking into therapy or nothing like that. Like
No.
this is my first time dealing with this shit. Like
What was going on with you?
shit, just I went through. You know how you go through a period in your life where you thought it was supposed to be a certain way, and like you feel like you let yourself down. You let this person. I felt like I played myself and
Yeah.
just dealing with them feelings all the time, and I was just like.
Yeah.
So I just had to numb that shit. And I thought weed was doing it. It wasn't doing none of the shit. I'm
Yeah.
not high no more. The shit's still there.
There.
Yeah.
It's still there.
And what's
So,
crazy is I feel like a lot of people feel that way. It's like we find drugs and alcohol to be like, we just gonna numb it because our society doesn't really teach us to deal with emotion, deal with feeling, to cope, to speak out, to attack mental problems at all. Because what you find is like when you look at suicide and you look at self-medication, is a lot of it is everybody has those problems. Everybody has that thought at one point or another. But instead of being like, actually in my poem, Last Suicidal Thought, it's like those topics are too deep to bring to the table till somebody's already done it.
yeah.
Like we can't
Yeah.
talk about it beforehand. Like my best friend, she committed suicide and she had 2 kids and she just never felt good enough. And so like I really, really urge people to like speak out. Don't sit and self-medicate until you're in a hole because we've all been in a hole. And I think that's a hard thing for people to grasp a lot of times. Like you said, your friends, they was right there in your face, like
kicking it.
chilling,
Yeah,
having
they
a
ain't
great
even
time. And you're in your head like,
Like, they don't even know. Like
Y'all
bro,
have
I'm
no
about to
idea.
fucking
but at the same time, do you think those same friends, if you were like, y'all, look, I'm really struggling, would they listen?
Yeah.
So what stopped you from making that statement?
It's just I didn't want to be vulnerable like that. with them.
Exactly,
Like, cause
yeah.
you know they look at you like, oh, Scoe the strong. Scoe don't let shit
Mm-hmm.
rattle him. Like he Scoe good, but like whole time, boy, I'm suffering right now.
Suffering.
Yep.
I'm like, and
Yeah.
I should have like, if I knew what I know then, like the other day, like I found myself on the treadmill, like just having a breakthrough, just cause I felt overwhelmed before I went in there, but I'm on the treadmill running. I just felt like, man, fuck this shit, Scoe. This shit can't beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you got this shit. Like
Yeah.
just having a down day. Like fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if I knew what I knew then, I'll just work out, try to stay busy. You know, just not self cope. Like you can't do that. You can't self medicate.
No,
You can't
and
show
it can go down really fast.
Yeah,
Like,
every
and
time.
and what's weird is in life I can make that comparison because me and my best friend we were 2 sides to the same coin. We had the same background as far as life experiences go when we met, and we grew up in that same world. And what really separated us was like I had other routes. Like I went to college, I learned, I got help, I got professional help. Like like I was telling you, go to therapy.
Yeah.
I got therapy. Like I did what I could to better myself. And even though like I had those thoughts, I went through the depression. I went through the process of almost actually doing it and then changing. Whereas she, even though we had the same life things happen to us, she went the total opposite way. And I think a lot of that is it's very easy to slide one way or the other.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
is.
For sure. No, I mean, everything that we talking about, this shit is really nothing new under the sun.
No, it's not. It happens every day.
And one of the things I was a book that I'm like halfway through right now is Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Like, and I'm just seeing like this is a emperor of Rome, right? This is a guy who could walk out on the street and kill anybody he wanted to with no consequences.
Right.
You know, this is a guy who could make a call to start wars or end wars or whatever. He was an emperor of Rome, Marcus Aurelius.
Right.
And I'm reading this book, and everything that he's going through is the exact same thing that somebody like us would go through.
Yep.
You know, and it's an eye-opening type of thing. It's like nothing is new under the sun.
Yeah, these problems have been around and they stay around. And that's what's crazy about it is because, like, I think what's really weird, very weird about society, about our society in general, is people older than us have gone through the exact same problems as us, and we're not teaching people, like our younger people, like, hey, change this pattern. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're thinking. I've been there. And maybe part of it is everybody has to learn that lesson for themselves.
That's it. And we won't listen. We won't listen.
No, we won't. We won't.
And we got to go through it first.
It's also, it's weird because it's like, yeah, people have to learn their own life lessons. But at the same time, what is it about somebody else teaching you that makes it so hard to learn? Is it the way they're teaching it? Is it the way they're saying it? Because my grandmother, before she passed away, man, she had a way of breaking some shit down that would have me turned around real quick.
Yeah.
Had me turned around real quick. So it's just crazy to me that, like you said, these patterns, they continue to repeat themselves. They're the same problems. Poets who were depressed, that's all the poetry you read when you're taking literature classes. Is some depressed poets who either died one way or another.
Yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe, he was an alcoholic. Most poets were alcoholics. And just, it really is. It's the same damn path. And that's kind of terrifying in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's also what you do with it. It's like acknowledging, it's the same path. It's the same path. So what are you going to do to change it?
That's funny that you brought up Edgar Allan Poe, because that was my whole motivation behind thinking that I would die early. It's like most of them guys die early too. A lot of the famous poets, and I was like, I'll be the poet who dies early, and like my shit'll be immortal forever. Like, it's kind of like a poetic way to die. That's the way I used to think about things. I used to think the same thing. So what's weird is, like, my best friend died, and I always thought it was going to be me. And she'd be like, nah, we'll be here forever. We got this. And I'd be like, nah, I'm going to write these little poems. I'm going to out. Yeah. But that's not a funny joke to make. But it's just true. Like, that's what I thought. I was so depressed. And, like, a lot of people didn't see it. Like you said, they didn't know. Like, hey, mom.
And you don't want to damper the mood.
You don't want to ruin the mood. You're like, hey, mom, just thinking about offing myself this weekend. Yeah. Just prepare yourself for that. Like, no, you don't do that. So, it was weird when I published my book and brought all that out to the table, and everybody looked at me like, hey, you good? Yeah. Like, you straight, or like, what is it? But I think a lot of people have that thought about dying young, and also have to realize, like, life expectancy back then was way shorter than it is now today. Yeah. Like, wasn't nobody planning for 90, 100 years. Yeah,
honestly, it's a good chance that all of us will live to like 150 with the way, Western medicine is and shit like that. It's a good chance we'll live for a way long time. And I hope
so. Because at this point, like, that's what I say. It's like, now my poetry is mental health. I want people I want to be able to put that out there. Yeah. I want people to be able to be like, it's not weird or hard to check in on yourself. Yeah. At any age, at any level, whether you're female or man, it's not that hard to check in, do what you love, talk to people you love. That's not a hard concept, but we got to put it out there and normalize it.
Absolutely. Nah, you're not saying anything wrong. Boo.
Yep.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, it was good talking to y'all. Great time.
What you got coming up next? Anything else you want to mention, maybe?
So ever since I did y'all's live show, I've been performing a lot of open mics, and on my social media, I normally post the flyers for them whenever they're coming up, because a lot of opportunities have been coming up. The biggest one being that I'm performing at the Frist Art Museum. I was one of 5 poets chosen to perform for a collective in Nashville. They go by Sould, SOULD. And they host great open mics and great events in general for the Black community. But this will be the first time that they're hosting at Frist Art Museum on August 25th. And I'm super excited to perform there. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's a beautiful opportunity.
I agree. Shit, we're going to have to come.
Y'all come through. See some art.
It's always me.
See some art. Y'all like art? You like art? Okay, come through. See some art. See some poetry. have a good time.
Yeah, no, we got to come through. Maybe by the time this come out, when did you say it was?
It's August 25th.
August 25th. Let me
Yeah.
see. No, this will be out before August 25th. This will be out before August 25th.
Okay.
So,
Well, cool. Definitely.
if you're watching it right now, you still watching up until this point, make sure you go get them tickets for that. Listen, we appreciate you coming on. We appreciate all of this. Had a good time talking to you. This is probably maybe one of my favorite ones, maybe.
Good.
Oh, maybe. So probably not. But
Yeah, we
no, I'm
hit
just
every
kidding.
time.
I'm just
It was
kidding.
entertaining. We got deep. We hit everything.
Yeah, we got deeper than I thought we were gonna get.
Yeah,
I thought, but it's great. It's great.
Well, listen, this is the ChoppedByT podcast where we get real, raw, authentic conversations. Until next time.